Hey, welcome. Let's talk about something that can feel, well, a little confusing. It's this strange economic puzzle where everything seems to be growing, but jobs just aren't keeping up. We're going to dive deep into what's called a jobless expansion.
So, does this hit close to home? You hear on the news that the economy's booming, profits are through the roof. But when you look around, or maybe even at your own job search, it just doesn't feel that way. Well, you're not imagining things. This is a real phenomenon, and we're going to unpack it right now.
Okay, so here's the textbook definition. A jobless expansion is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. The country is producing more, creating more value, the economy is getting bigger, but it's doing all that without actually creating more jobs. In fact, sometimes it even loses jobs in the process. It's growth, yeah, but it's not the kind of growth that hires people. And this chart just makes it crystal clear. You see, on the left, that's the story we all expect, right? The economy gets stronger, so companies hire more people. Simple. But over on the right, that's the weird part. The output, the economic growth, is still going up. But look at that employment arrow. It's either stuck in neutral or worse, it's pointing down. That classic link between a bigger economy and more jobs, it's been broken. So you have to ask, how is that even possible? What's the engine driving all this growth if it's not people? Well, the answer is probably the single biggest force changing our world right now. This quote really cuts right to the heart of it. Marginal gain is just a fancy economist's term for what's the extra bang for my buck. And what's happening is that companies are realizing that to produce one more thing, investing in a new piece of software or a new robot gives them a much bigger boost than hiring another person. It's cold, hard math. The machine has just become more efficient than the new hire. And you can see how it plays out step by step. First, companies bring in all this amazing new tech, AI, robotics, you name it. Then, bam, their productivity just skyrockets. They can do more, make more, sell more than ever before. But here's the catch. Because the technology is doing all the heavy lifting, they just don't need more people to handle it. And suddenly, hiring just stops. Or it even goes backwards. Now, it's not just about the robots, of course. There are other things going on. The whole economy might be shifting to industries that rely more on massive, expensive machines than on a large workforce. And at the same time, the jobs that are being created require super specific, high-level skills, while more routine jobs are shrinking. Heck, sometimes complicated hiring rules can actually make buying a new machine seem way easier than bringing on a new person.
Okay, so we know what it is and what causes it. But how do you actually spot one of these things happening in real time? What are the economic signals, the warning signs that you can look for? Let's go on a little expedition. This right here is one of the biggest clues. You see that first bar? That's labor productivity. It's soaring. We, the workers, are creating more value per hour than ever before in history. But then you look at that second bar? Real wage growth. It's basically flat. All that extra wealth we're creating for our companies just isn't making its way back into our paychecks at the same speed. That growing gap is a huge red flag.
Think of this as the dashboard the experts are watching. When all these lights start blinking this way at the same time, you've got a problem. Productivity is way up, but hiring is stalled and wages are weak. And look at that last one. Corporate profits are growing way, way faster than what companies are spending on salaries. All the gains are going to the owners of the capital, not the labor. You know, this can all sound a little grim, and honestly, it's a huge challenge. So what's the solution? What can policymakers and all of us do to make sure economic growth actually helps everybody? Let's take a look at some of the ideas on the table. The thinking kind of boils down to a few big strategies. First, you could offer incentives, like tax breaks, to make hiring actual people more attractive for companies. Second, and this is a big one, is retraining. We have to invest in programs that help people learn the new skills for the jobs that are in demand. And finally, we can actually tweak the rules of the whole system to reward companies not just for being super efficient, but for being great at creating jobs too. Because really, that's the whole point, isn't it? The ultimate goal here is to reconnect economic growth with opportunity for everyone. It's about making sure that as the whole economic pie gets bigger, we all have a fair shot at getting a bigger slice. And that leaves us with this massive question hanging in the air. As AI and automation get even more advanced, and they will, is this what we have to look forward to? Is this pattern of growth without jobs just the new normal? It's a heavy thought, and it's something we're all going to have to figure out together. Thanks for digging into this with me.